Home now. He's riding home from Massachusetts to New York. Yes, Carlos, you're going to love your new house. Yes. This is our next interview. So cute sitting up there riding home now. He's riding home from Massachusetts to New York. Yes, Carlos, you're going to love your new house. Yes. This is our next interview. Hi, Carla. Hello. Are you Eve?
That's Eve.
Hi.
I'm Wendy.
You're
Carla's
Wendy.
in the back.
Great hat. Very cool.
Thank you. And where's Carla?
She's in the back.
Honey, we've got to do the interview. We're out of battery, and so we've got to use electric. And where is there an electric outlet where we can sit and do the interview?
All right. Well, perhaps Carla would know better than I where she like best to sit.
Our couch is in her.
Oh. All right.
See, we have electric here. We do have this beautiful couch, which is usually in the back room.
And what do you suggest, maybe?
Well, if you want to sit,
Yeah, I should think we'd want to sit. It would be nice to walk around, but we don't have battery.
My boyfriend liked this one.
But when we got this, anyway.
You have what, the vintage dresses and all that that you have? Or?
Well, that's what we're going to get, is a story on what they've got.
All right.
Hi. Carl, is that you?
Yes, Glendora, is that you?
Yeah. Hi, Carl.
Oh, my
Come this-
goodness, you
Okay,
look like
all right.
you're in this school talking.
A live model. Carla, we've got to do an interview where there's an electric outlet.
all these cubbies,
I love your outfit.
Thank you, I love
the doll on the
yours.
floor.
What period is that?
Oh, yeah. Fun.
The bike is great.
Probably similar to yours. We have one here.
Oh, here's your electric outlet. Good. Great, we're ready.
And she's the very last one.
When she was 17.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah,
Aren't you fortunate?
very much. Very much.
I'm the one that's fortunate.
And Wendy, when did you come aboard?
Eve.
3 years ago. No, it was still longer than that because I was also 17.
Yeah.
It was Dwight, so I went away to college.
It was Eve who connected us, wasn't it? Connected Glendora and Carla over the phone. You gave me her home number.
Did you, or was it Gloria?
No, it was.
I'm not remembering right now.
Oh.
So perhaps it was Gloria.
I thought it was Eve. All righty.
All right.
And your name?
Gregory.
I'm sorry, Mr. Gregory Washburn. This is Carla Lund.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Lund, L-U-N-D.
So, this is something.
I'm going to give you a countdown, all right? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Greystone Gardens, and this is the founder and owner and developer, Mrs. Carla Lund. Carla, what is the theme of Greystone Gardens?
Well, it's basically considered an antique vintage
An
clothing
antique
store.
vintage clothing store.
And gifts and jewelry, and that's the title of it. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that has nothing to do with, you could say, with fashion, you know.
Oh, really? You collected all of these articles?
Well, yes, they came to us, and for 37 years I've been doing this. When you started in 1972,
Yes.
I started in 1972.
Oh, isn't that? I know exactly.
It's
It's
ironic.
37 years. Now, Greg, I would like Carla to look into the camera. Could you just turn around and rotate? That's it. That's it. Yeah, look in the camera and talk to the folks. There, that's better, isn't it, Greg? And so, how did you happen to get the idea to start this?
Well, to make a long life short, I went to
We don't want
school,
to do that.
you know, shorter in terms of an interview. I graduated college and taught school in Maine, actually, for a year. And
Whereabouts in Maine?
near Moosehead Lake.
Oh,
in
my
Greenville.
goodness.
Way up,
Greenville.
way
Oh.
up there. I taught in Monson, Maine. And,
Yes, Munson, Maine.
And
I'm going to tell you
unfortunately-
something. My sister taught in Munson, Maine.
Really?
Honestly, folks, that's the most interesting coincidence, and it's way, way up. You go in and you can't get out hardly.
You
can
can't get out, except I had a class of 42 children in
My
one room,
goodness.
and I was trying to teach at that young age the wonder of life, you know, and teaching haiku and singing and kazoos, and they really were much more into reading, writing, and arithmetic. And so it was, I was in trouble all the time as a teacher, you know, teaching singing and everything, art, and so that ended my career as a teacher, even though I loved the children. And so I went back into music, which I really was involved with, and I made 3 albums and of music that I wrote and
That's wonderful.
worked on, called the People's Victory Orchestra and Chorus.
Oh, how nice.
But you know, I certainly did make a living at that, and I was trying to be a potter, and so as it continued, I opened up a store thinking I would sell my pottery and my music, but I did fall in love with the beauty of old things, of antiques. I sold furniture in the beginning, and I just it was like a passion, you know, that began. And
Where, honey? Where did you
this
go
was
to
in
store?
this was in Queens Village was my first store on Long Island.
And where is Queens Village on Long Island?
It's in New York. It's considered
Oh,
part
it's
of
part
the
of
city.
Queens.
City, so it's one of the boroughs, and I
Well, I'll
had,
tell you, nobody lives in Queens. Either you live in College Point, or you live in Jamaica, or you live in whatever. But nobody ever lives in Queens.
yeah. Well, it was near Jamaica.
Oh, near
actually.
Jamaica.
And I had 2 stores there, and they progressed, and eventually I moved out. I moved up here. I've been here. It'll be 29 years
29 years?
this December.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And why did you move from Queens? It was a...
It was. I always wanted to live in what I would call the country.
Yeah.
I started in Maine, and it was too much of the country, you know. And so I had to go back to where I began and start again. And I finally got what I really wanted, was to live in a you know, more country that had a little more development. I used to have to drive 80 miles to get a whole wheat bread when I lived in Greenville.
Greenville, Maine.
Yeah, so this was much, you know, more conducive to.
You're so brave to start a store in Greenville, Maine.
No, I taught.
Oh, you taught, but where'd you have your store in Maine?
I didn't. It was just teaching.
I thought you said you had a store in Maine.
No,
Okay.
just teaching.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I wouldn't. I don't think I would have sold anything except bear traps and snowshoes or something.
And potatoes.
Right. The kids actually skied down to the school. You
Really?
know, it was
No school buses, skis.
and walking. You know, but it was certainly a great experience. But the Berkshires are sort of a midpoint between city life
I see.
and the backwoods of Maine.
And did you come to Pittsfield 29 years ago?
Yes, and I originally came to the Chatham area. I lived in Old Chatham. And
Chatham, New York.
Yes,
It's
and
not very far.
no, and so I picked Pittsfield as a small city. It was really the center of the Berkshires, and every store in those days was filled. It was a really wonderful city to walk around.
What year was
in.
that, honey?
This was in 1980.
1980.
Yeah, And as the years went on, Pittsfield emptied out, you know, in terms of it went away, and people would say, what was I doing here? I'd say, I'm waiting for the Renaissance. And it really happened. And although everybody's going through a hard time in the world,
yes,
you know, so we're all trying to hang in there. But I would say that my life in the store really is, you know, to look at things beyond what you see, you know, in terms of the clothing is wonderful, but you can feel the spirit of people who wore these things. It's really, as I've gotten older, I've recognized what, you know, we're all about is the spirit that's behind things. It's not the things in themselves.
Yeah.
So if you look at a dress and really look, you know, you can see the superficial things of the period that it's from, you know, and then you can almost do a forensic fashion study where you can feel the person who wore this, their size, who they were. Oftentimes, the thing that I love the best is when I get pictures of the family, or let's say the person wearing this outfit, the actual person, and that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
So what year did you start in Pittsfield?
That was in 1980, so it'll be 29 years this December
And
when
then-
I open.
29.
Yeah.
And at this location?
Yes.
And you've seen many changes at this location?
Many, many, many changes in Pittsfield. There was a time where I was the only one here on this whole block. You know, I think the Lantern was the only other place open for a while.
And you weathered the storm?
Because, first of all, I loved this building, as you can see. It called to me. In fact, the name of the store was called after the building, Greystone.
Greystone.
The building is called Greystone.
Yeah. Greystone is a big name up here, isn't it? Greystone.
Well, because of Greylock, and, you know, but this building is the Greystone building. It's, you know, the ceiling, you know, the whole creaky floor. You know, I couldn't have asked for more, you know. So it's really been a whole life for me, you know.
And you've had wonderful people run it for you all these years.
Absolutely. And we,
Eve's been here, what, how many?
well, Eve,
And Wendy?
I don't know where Eve is. I don't know where
Well,
Wendy
Eve's been
went.
here 3 years. She got out of
She was here before when she was 17.
Yes,
And then she went to school.
yes. And she came back.
She came back, but she'll be off. So people come and go, you know. Eve will be planning to go really far away to the Caucasus Mountains soon.
My goodness.
And
Mountains.
so, you know, and she's been just
And
total
Wendy's
delight
been here.
since she's 17.
Yeah.
But she went off, you know, to do her life and came back actually recently, as I felt like a gift from God, because my husband had gotten very ill just when she showed up saying, did I need help? And I did. And so she has been with me. And then
Now, you have another store
I used to have a store in Stockbridge.
in Stockbridge.
And I closed that about 5 years ago.
And what did it sell?
It sold a smattering of the old things, the antique things, and jewelry, but mostly gifts because of the tourists.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was
Oh,
basically
sure. Yeah. Is that what most of the people come in looking for? Is gifts?
No, actually, the clothing.
The old-fashioned clothing?
In this store, it's basically the vintage clothing.
And what do they want that for? A special occasion, a prom, or a special dance? Or
It is that. Also weddings, I would say also just as wearables, dresses. I don't know, there was a young lady here who was getting a beautiful dress to wear from the 50s, you know, a really beautiful 50s dress. And as I've gotten older, the vintage has changed. When I first started, I had things from the 1880s to only about 1940. And as my decades increased with the store, I then had things from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. Now there's a whole new
70s
generation.
are now vintage. I'm vintage, folks. I was here in the 70s.
Yes, yes. So we're all.
I was here in the 30s.
So the period of time that I started and you started is now the period that's really of a lot of interest for younger people. The 70s and the 80s.
Really?
Things that,
Isn't that
I
interesting?
would have never thought in the 70s I was selling antique clothing. I never thought in 2009 I'd be selling the 70s. So I'm definitely coming around, the second time around.
I would like to stop our camera now, and I would like to get her tail. Yeah, can you hold still?
Oh.
So turn the back so he can see your swallowtail.
I wear a lot of men's tuxes.
Oh,
and-
they come here for that too.
yes. Women wear men's clothes.
Carla, what is this pretty green dress?
Well, this is a beautiful outfit from the late 1800s.
Late
Yes,
1800s.
yes. And even in the window, one of the things that we have from a whole wardrobe of a woman that we actually got her original bill of sale from 1897 in
Wow.
Paris. And it was one of the finds that was most exciting to me because I had a picture of the woman wearing her wedding dress. I've lent this dress out for a show, but her name was well, it's this way. It's her name. It was Alice Louise, a local family, and all her things from
There you go.
from.
Sorry, folks.
So the thought that this whole family probably went on the boat to Paris to buy her wedding outfit and all her clothing. The outfit in the window is part of that ensemble that she had of her walking suit, and I even have one piece that I would say for myself is her handkerchief that she had, which was this lace handkerchief bought in Paris, and here's another piece of her life. Oh, is this beautiful ostrich? And so to find a whole intact grouping of clothing is so beautiful beyond the clothing. It's the whole family, and that the family preserved this, and that they felt good enough about passing it on to us, as a purchase. And I even did a window with that wedding gown and that picture that the granddaughter came in to see that window and to take photographs of it. So it's really a time walk that you're going on. This is a dress from the teens, it's a beautiful silk dress. So it basically is a store where you can walk through time. It's not a museum. You can wear these things. People buy them to hang them on the wall sometimes.
Really?
But people definitely buy them as wearable clothing.
And all this underneath, how did they walk with all this?
You walk carefully. You walked with this behind you. This was the train.
I see.
But you walked carefully, and if you danced in it, you would hold it up.
Dance with it.
You would hold that up.
I would say so.
So, I believe there's a scientific notion about time being all one, which I do believe. So
Time is all one.
I believe that time is all one, and that you can dip into any time, and basically it brings you back there. I believe ultimately we'll know how to time travel, because I think that time isn't what we think that it is, and it's really not happening past, present, and future, but as a whole. And so I feel that this lends itself to that. I have come to believe that very strongly. But you'll see people enter into the trying on rooms, and they'll go in their jeans, and they come out, they're in another time, and you can feel them being transported. It's really like a time machine.
What are they going to think of when they see us in our jeans 50 years from now?
Well, I don't know. I don't know. These things won't last forever. Who knows what we'll be wearing 50 years from now.
And now, did you want to tell us a little bit about the jewelry?
Well, the jewelry also comes from many different times, and from, I would say from the turn of the century, Victorian jewelry, through the 1960s, some 70s. People still look for clip earrings. They don't have pierced ears.
Yeah, I remember those.
They look for the clip earrings, and we try to have those for people that haven't gotten their ears pierced. Tie clips. This is our little men's section. Men usually didn't have much jewelry,
Yes.
so it's very hard to find. They usually wore one ring, and got buried in it. So the men's section isn't as large as the women's section. But I do try to have as many things for men as we can. We consider half of our store is devoted to men's things.
Oh, that's good.
And then there are...
unisex.
Yes, and, we have drawers of pictures and gloves and, the accoutrements, the accessories that go with the outfits. We also have done a lot of work with theaters. But mostly it's people really time walking, you could say, really interested in...
Well, I get that feeling every once in a while.
Of being in another time.
Yeah, being like in the Romans. Yeah.
Now, I wish I could have clothing from those periods.
Yeah, that's far back.
I don't, it's hard. So, as far back as we go is probably the 1880s, and things start to dissipate, so we don't, I think we all go back to the early times.
You do?
Yeah, I do. I have come to definitely believe that. But I can't get the clothing from those periods.
No. Look at the, how many she has, Greg.
And gowns from all different times.
The ballroom.
Yes.
The ballrooms, all the money.
And the Berkshires has its fair share of fancy balls.
Fancy balls.
Yeah, in the midst of winter, people like to dress up and get into a beautiful place. Wow, that's perfect for you. It's
Is
a
it
little
really?
small. Let me see.
You're in the mirror. Look in the
You're
mirror.
definitely meant for this store.
Yeah.
Glendora, you're right at home here.
Oh, that's fun.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's fun.
It really is.
And now wait, folks, here's another one.
A bowler.
Was that what they call them?
Well, that's the top hat, and here's a bowler.
This wasn't called a derby?
Well, or a derby. A bowler or a derby. Charlie Chaplin's hat.
Oh, is that Charlie Chaplin?
Yes. That's cute, too.
Let me see this one. You show the mirror. Oh, it is Charlie Chaplin.
All you need is a cane.
And they call it a bowler?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, now this is a young lady who's interested in a dress to wear, correct?
Yes, if I could find anywhere to wear it.
You will.
But I love it,
You
so I'm hoping someone I know gets married.
Oh, that's what you want it for? Okay.
Yes.
Well, she's got her find
Maybe
the
if I get
occasion.
married someday, it'll be my second wedding, so I can wear it because it's not white, even though I could wear white. But it'd be a good reason to wear it, I think.
And Carla, this case, what are we looking at in this case?
Well, some of the older things, rings. That's a little Mauge little mirror that you would carry in your pocketbook, your tiny pocketbook, you know, unlike what we carry now, trunks. And, you know, a beautiful
Well, they didn't have
Pearl.
much money. They couldn't get. There was no point having a big pocketbook because they didn't have much money. Is that right?
Well, people did have money in those days. Some people didn't. But women carried small bags because they didn't have to, they were basically transported, if you know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
You had somebody helping you get dressed. They had clothing that buttoned all the way down the back. You couldn't really get dressed alone. When I used to wear clothes like that, I'd have to come to the store and ask somebody to hook me up. So the clothing was designed that women couldn't live alone, you know? And they didn't go out alone very much, you know. So their bag was only tiny,
I see.
you know.
That's what you call time warning.
Yes, yeah. So bow ties, sailor outfits,
Go ahead.
heavy woolen
Go ahead.
Joggers.
Tell him about it.
from the 50s and the 40s. You know, tuxedos, formal formal scarves. This is a big thing. White shirts, tuxedos. We try to get hats for men. They're hard to get, that are large enough. You see that wonderful ceiling?
Yeah, I like the tin ceilings.
And our hat box collection, people love, and occasionally I sell one or so. But since they're paper, they are hard to have in good condition.
Just get some of this here.
These are the old bed dolls. We've had so many of these over the years from the 30s. And a lot of Harris tweed jackets, which are wonderful. They wear forever.
Carla, how do you procure these wonderful clothing?
Well, in the old days, when I first began, I used to travel really extensively in terms of going to Ohio, and Baltimore had wonderful clothing. People dressed up in the South, and the clothing was wonderful. And the fact that so I did a lot of traveling for the clothing. Now people come to us, which I'm glad.
They do,
Yeah.
such as the woman you told us about.
Yes,
with the
and
gown.
this happens daily, that people are downsizing, they're moving, they're, they're moving to Florida and selling their house, so they're getting rid of their collections. So that happens daily here. And we even have people who are friends of mine who travel from Italy every year. They bring things with them. So they come from all different places. People call. Sometimes I go to their houses, but they often bring their things here. I think this young lady had brought things here. So it happens. People will come to shop and they bring things with them. So.
Tell us about your cameo. It's a real cameo.
It's a real cameo made in Italy, where
Really?
most cameos are made. That's a real art form.
Yes, indeed.
My husband gave this to me as his last gift.
Really?
It's very precious to me.
Of course.
And it was refashioned. This was not how it would have come with this pearl.
Oh,
So it was refashioned by somebody currently. And but that's the shell, the inside.
Oh wow!
it's a rock, is it?
It's a shell.
It's a shell.
conch.
It's
It's like a conch shell.
Oh, okay, uh-huh.
And so you can see the back of it is the shell. And what they do is they carve away. This is the front of the shell.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they carve away.
artistic.
Yeah. That's Italy for you with its.
And tell us about your rings while you have them down here.
Well, I'm wearing my husband's ring.
Good.
And,
So am I.
And this is the first ring he gave me, which is an antique ring. And I haven't had that off in years since he gave it to me. And just my wedding ring, his wedding ring, and a ring to hold them in because his ring would fall off.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
It's the same here.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is my husband's wedding ring.
Oh, my. Well, it's a wonderful thing to have.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And then the other ring over here, what's this one?
This is probably a newer ring from about probably the 90s.
Like a wedding ring.
Well, no, it was probably just a gold ring.
Isn't it a pretty ring?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
Thank you. Yeah, I love rings. We're here in Pittsfield, Massachusetts at Greystone Gardens. And
North Avenue. Next, very near Dottie's.
And this is the back of the store. Everything in the back of the store and the rear of the store is always on sale. Right now it's 75% off, but everything is always on sale there. This is a lamp from my first store, actually.
A lamp?
A fringe lamp.
Oh, yes, I remember them.
Yes, and
I've seen them for years.
they're hard to get because they're silk and fall apart. And this is part of our wedding gown section.